more about your conversation with Jay. Jay's going to come up here and talk for just a few minutes about his vision for Los Angeles. I'm going to lead off with maybe a question or two, but really right away I'm going to be asking you for your questions, and we're going to introduce a dialogue. People in this room are as active and as committed and as passionate about this community as we are, and we really want to make this a conversation such as we've had before between us and you. It's going to go on for about 20 to 30 minutes. After that, you'll have lots of opportunities afterwards to talk to Jay. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jay Sanderson.
So I don't do podiums. I think podiums kind of present a barrier between the speaker and the audience. And clearly, the reason that I'm taking this job is to get rid of the barriers. I tell people all the time, as I talk about the Federation, that we are in only one business, and that's the relationship business. We're in a relationship with the community, we're in a relationship with our donors, and we're in a relationship with the organizations and the initiatives that we fund. And historically, the Federation has meant one thing to this community. It's been there in good times and bad times. In crises, there's no other organization greater than the Federation. But today we face a different kind of a crisis. It's a crisis about who we are as Jews and who we will be as Jews in the next decades. What our children will connect to, what our grandchildren will connect to. It's a different kind of a challenge that the Federation has ever faced before. And I know many of you who work in the Jewish community have heard those buzzwords that we've all heard for years and years and years. Continuity, identity, words that frankly we have talked about, we've had large group meetings about, but at the end of the day, we probably haven't done enough about. And so my vision for the community as we go forward is to take on this new challenge in a different way, by reimagining what it means to be a federation. When I was in the search process, and many of you probably learned about the search process from the Jewish Journal, and Rob, some of the facts were true. I still like the analogy of the 3 puffs of smoke, and I have to be honest with you, and there is a member of the search committee in the room I won't name, I learned a lot about the search process from the Jewish Journal as well. The word change was used over and over again, and frankly, in almost all the conversations I've had with people in this room, the word change is used. And it is not a word, and I said this to the search committee, it is not a word that I feel comfortable using. Just like a podium, I'm uncomfortable with the word change. Because to me, change means I'm going to change my tie and my suit tomorrow. The word I like to use is transformation. It's a process. It's not going to happen as fast as I want. Many of the people who know me in this room know that patience is not necessarily one of my virtues, but it is a process that we need to go through communally. Because if we are in relationship, and we are needing to be in the best possible relationship, we really need to know each other better. The Federation needs to know you better, it needs to know the community better. Because that's the only way we're going to know what the needs are of the community as we go forward. And if we know the needs of the community better, we'll be able to address them better. And frankly, if we're, and God said that there be light. I've already recognized the fact that I haven't started the job yet, but I've already lit up the room. But if we know more and we're able to make decisions that are in the best interest of our community, and I want everyone to know, I define our community in the broadest possible way. In my mind, Judaism is a very, very big tent. And all we care about is that you come in. You don't have to come all the way in. You can put just 1 foot in as far as I'm concerned. You don't have to go to shul every single day. You can just go once a year as far as I'm concerned. Do you identify as a Jew? Is it a core the core of who you are, then we need to embrace you as a community and as a federation, and we need to know your needs. Ephraim talked about Israel, and it is very important to me that we enable anyone who wants to go to Israel as a federation. We must have a strong connection to Israel, and the only way we can serve our community is by getting people to go to Israel. So these are core issues that we have that we need to talk about. If we're in a big tent and we want everyone to come in, then we have to make sure that the tent keeps everybody warm and everybody safe. It used to be that the Federation was called the umbrella of the Jewish community. I call it the big tent. So I'm hoping tonight, in the beginning of our conversation, that will lead to many other conversations, individually and in groups like this, that you come into our tent. It's a community tent, but at the end of the day, the success of this community, in my mind, rises and falls on the success of the Federation. So I hope that you'll be my partner. I hope that in our relationship, we make a greater relationship for the community. So thank you very much, and now Rob, throw me a hardball. By the way, I asked the question of Rob, is this an on-the-record conversation? And then I recognized another fault of mine, which is I'm incapable of having an off-the-record conversation. So please, just as long as the video camera, Jay Firestone, shoots my good side, which is on the other side of the 405.
Thank you, Jay. How about applause? So, like I said, very quickly, I'm going to ask you for questions. I'm going to lead off, though, with this question, which is, what's your first, you laid out this grand vision of what this group needs to do. What's your first kind of operational objective?
Well, when I took the job, the lay people that hired me said the biggest challenge that I would have is telling the story better. We need to tell our story better. And what I now understand after 3.5 months of looking under the hood of the car is we need a more compelling story. So from my first task, and by the way, I'm hoping to do about 50 tasks simultaneously, but the first task, if I have to pull one out, is for us to really start the process of reassessing how and where we give our money. Because what people don't probably recognize is, even though we raise about $50 million a year, we give away about $50 million a year. And so I want to make sure that our philanthropic investments in this community, in Eastern Europe, in Israel, are the best kind of investments we can make with the highest return.
Okay, like I said, I want to hear from you, so we'll start with throwing your hands up in the air. Anybody? Okay, then I'm going to ask Elliot. Rabbi York.
Oh, he's fine. How do you understand the mission of the Federation separate and apart from the mission of its organization?
Hold on, bring your microphone.
Oh.
Wait, yeah, take the mic.
The mission of the Federation separate and apart from the mission of its various agencies.
Well, again, this will be a working process that I hope we get to redefine as we move forward. But to me, the basic understanding of what the mission of the Federation is, the Federation is in the business of furthering the Jewish people and the health and welfare of the Jewish people locally and internationally. We have to be future thinking in terms of those issues, but we have, as you well know, we have current needs in terms of what's going on in Los Angeles. We need to make sure that every Jew lives well and lives as Jewish a life as they can.